Hey, Joe, can you see me and hear me okay? All right, great. Hey, this is Scott from Global Life American Income Division. I spoke to you about your benefits through Union X. Is Mary there? Hey, Mary, hey, how you guys doing today? Awesome. I'm doing good, thanks. I mean, it's still hot, but I'm doing good. Appreciate that. But look, I got your benefits here, and I got to tell you, I really love how they have us using Zoom. It just makes things go so much faster, and honestly, it simplifies the process. So don't worry, I'm not going to take up much of your time. I'm gonna go ahead and get some stuff set up here, and so we can get going. All right, now I know you're dying to know. So let me tell you exactly why I'm visiting with you and what I'm going to do. Okay, so my job is to go over some of the no-cost benefits that have already been set up for you. Then I'm going to go over some additional benefits that you might qualify for. So my company, American Income, works with over 20,000 different labor unions, credit unions, and associations throughout the United States. And look, whether you like unions or don't, the one thing everyone can agree on is they have the best benefits. And a big reason for that is because of their relationship with American Income for the past 60 plus years. With all that, you can imagine they have me running around like crazy. So let me just go ahead and jump right into it and start with your no cost benefits for you. Fair enough? All right. So, Joe and Mary, your first no cost benefit is the Child Safe ID Kit mobile app, which it is endorsed by the International Union of Police Associations. So, with your two kids, Chris and Kate, I'm sure you know a bunch of families with kids, right? Yeah. Did you know that Texas leads the nation in abductions? And did you know that 93% of those children that aren't found in the first 24 hours are never found? That is why they decided to create the most comprehensive app of its kind to find missing children. So I want to make sure you have this on your phone before we leave. So will you please grab your phone real quick? I'm gonna have you download the app and then I'm gonna help you get it activated. You're gonna Android or uh, iOS, whatever your app is, and then it's gonna look like this. All right. Okay. So now imagine if your child went missing. I don't want to think about it, but imagine if your child went missing. Can you see how important this app would be? I mean, and being in the endorsed company by the International Union of Police Associations, they're asking that you refer at least five families for this app. I mean, you mentioned you knew families with children, and everyone always wants to put down dozens of people, but let's just start with the people close to you. So, who would be the first family that comes to mind? And is that one T or two T's? Okay. How many kids I got? Nice. And the fifth one? Perfect. All right. Perfect. Got that. Thanks. So now, Joe and Mary, this is your next no cost benefit. This is the free will and testament kit that you requested. Have you had a chance to establish a final will and testament? Okay. Well, in the United States, a simple will can cost up to $1,000, really depending on how complex it is. The free will kit program partnered with American Income to distribute these kits to you at no cost because of the company's reputation and history of helping families. So with that, let me review the free will kit with you. Okay. Now, it's important that once you get the kit, fill it out and follow all the instructions and keep it in a safe place. All right. Okay. So, Joe, Mary, your next one is this no cost benefit is the AIL Plus discount card. Let me ask you, how are your benefits through work? Yeah. So, you're going to absolutely love this. I'm sure you know that now you can't rely on group benefits since you don't control them and they could change at any time. So, this no cost benefit to you will help with some of those gaps by giving you up to an 85% discount on things like dental, vision, prescription drugs, hearing aids, telemedicine, even chiropractic services. So this membership does require an annual renewal. However, that is also at no cost to you. And we'll even let you know when to renew. You won't even have to think about it. I've always had people tell me, Scott, I don't think I'm going to be using this very much. And then come to find out they're using it all the time. Again, at no cost, it's good to get that extra peace of mind, right? So you'll receive an activation email within the next few days. So please be on the lookout for that. All right. Okay. So the AD&D, the Accidental Death and Dismemberment Certificate, this is the one that was mentioned in your letter talked about. So it's going to look kind of like this right here. And so for you, Joe, this is a living benefit. So this benefit pays you $2,000 for the loss of one hand, one foot, or sight in one eye, and it doubles that to $4,000 for the loss of any two. Now, Mary, for you, Mary, this is a death benefit that would pay you $4,000 should Joe die accidentally, God forbid. But now I know that $4,000 doesn't seem like a lot of money in this world, and really it's not. But if Joe were to die, his paycheck would die with him. And I'd imagine that would put a crunch on your budget, wouldn't it? Yeah, it'd put a crunch on mine too. So you can see how this would definitely help, right? All right. So let me go ahead and email you the certificate for your records. And then you will be receiving a green certificate in the mail. You want to fill it out completely. Then you want to send it to the PO box that is on the top to ensure that you are covered. Okay. All right. So also with this AD&D certificate, we also need two emergency contacts to put down here in the event that you die together in a common accident, like a car crash. So with this, it'd be wise to have them living in Texas, over the age of 18, and living outside of your home. So with that in mind, who would be your first emergency contact? Okay. And your second one? Jane, common spelling. Okay. All right. Perfect. Now, when something happens, you're going to need to know, or you're going to need to contact our local office. So I'm asking you again, please get out your phones. I want to make sure you have this in your phone before we get off this call. Let me know when you're ready. Okay. Put this number in your phone, please. 832-327-0800. This is so your family gets the money that they're entitled to. Now, I'm going to be calling you emergency contacts personally, so they know exactly what to do in the event of a claim as well. If you could, though, I'd ask you to please give them a heads up so that they'll be hearing from me. In addition, if they choose, they'll also have access to this as well, thanks to you. Now, Joe, this policy is just on you, okay? But the second part of the benefit is that you can extend this to your closest family members and friends at no cost to you, no cost to them. So how this works, let's say, God forbid, uh, John was to die in an accident. A $2,000 policy, just like yours, will pay out to his family at no cost to them or to you. All you're doing is you're giving them the option to take care of this and take advantage of this, just like you did. The ability to extend this is tied to my visit with you today because of your enrollment period. So it is important not to prejudice anyone's situation. Just let them decide for themselves. Now, they give you $20,000 worth of this benefit, which means you can extend it up to 10 families, but obviously your emergency contacts, John and Jane, they're already included. They're already taken care of. That leaves you with 8 more. So you mentioned your family, and so what are their names again? Yeah, okay, yeah. And you mentioned your brother. Let's get it out to him too. All right, we got one more there. You think anybody? There you go. Yeah. Right. Hey, Joe, they're gonna love you for it. I mean, who's gonna pass up no cost stuff and get all this stuff, right? All right. Well, please give them a heads up again, like the emergency contacts that I'll be giving them a call as well. All right. So here's your homework. I already mentioned a couple times, but please make sure you give those families and the extended that you extend these no cost benefits to a call or text, and let them know I'll be calling them in the next few days or so. You can give them the actual number I called you on. It's my personal number. And as long as they get a heads up, they're really happy. But if I call them and they don't know who I am or why I'm calling, sometimes they get confused and they end up being upset with both of us. So please, 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 please let them know. Can you make sure you do this for me? I appreciate it, Joe. All right, so now I'm going to jump into reviewing the exclusive benefits that you must qualify for. So all the families that I see love this part of the program, and it's why 20,000 different groups handpicked American Income to handle their permanent and portable benefits in the past 6 years. So what I would tell you is next time you're at one of your groups, make sure you thank them for getting you set up for this. First, let's start with the needs analysis software. Uh, the reason why most people don't have the right coverage is basically they don't know what they need. So in a few minutes, and after I review this with you, you will definitely know what you need and where you're at. So I'm going to ask you a few questions to see where you're at. But before I do, let me show you my license from the state of Texas so you know that I am a licensed professional to handle these kinds of benefits. And before I jump into that needs analysis survey, I do have three preliminary questions that I have to review with you to make sure you qualify to move forward. The first one is a yes because you're sitting here with me, but I still got to say it. So, first one is you must be a member of an authorized group or sponsored by someone who is. You're obviously a member. Two, you must have an active checking account with a bank or credit union. Yep. You good? All right, good. And the third one is, have you or anyone in your household been diagnosed with COVID-19 virus in the past? And if so, when? All right, perfect. All right, great, great, great. All right, Joe. So before I go any further, it looks like the needs analysis did find some gaps in your coverage. So I have a mandatory read-off letter for you. It explains how the enrollment process works. But Joe and Mary, instead of reading this whole thing, let me just summarize it for you. Fair enough? All right. So what it's basically saying is, if as I'm going through these benefits, you're nodding your head, thinking, wow, these are some great benefits. And I can see why 20,000 groups approve this and why everyone's doing it. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ask you to apply today. On the flip side, if I'm going through these benefits and you're thinking to yourself, you know, these really are some great benefits, but Scott, that they don't feel a need for me and my family right now, then I'm going to go ahead and ask you not to apply. Either way, Joe, yes or no, the decision does have to be made today during your service period, in all fairness for the other members who are waiting to get enrolled. So what you'll see is what they did here. They really set it up as a no-brainer. I mean, it's going to be an easy yes or no. Does that make sense? All right. So whatever you decide to do, yes or no, they do want you to give your opinion in a Google review, which is sort of like it's like my report card. And I try to get 5 stars, like an Uber driver. I try to get 5-star rating every time. So it's important to stop me if you have any questions. Does that make sense? All right, Joe, you're going to stop me. Any questions, right? Mary, you're going to stop me or him, right? All right, we're going to get these questions answered. All right. So, as you know, over the years, we go through contract negotiations, benefit changes at work. That's a give and take. And lately, it seems like we're paying a lot more, but getting a lot less. I mean, look at gas prices, grocery stores. Well, this company has a labor advisory board of 50 international union presidents whose main job is to provide the best wages and the best benefits for their members. And from their feedback, along with feedback from members like you, they came up with a list of concerns that apply to all working families, whether they're union or not. The first concern is copays, deductibles, and lost wages. Second concern is the funeral and final expenses. The third concern is loss of a paycheck. The fourth concern is the loss of a household, mortgage, rent. The fifth concern is child protection, the inability of them to pursue college due to the loss of a parent as they were a minor. The sixth benefit is, or the sixth concern is the terminal illness, especially cancer. The seventh is the group benefits. And the last concern is affordability. Now, to take care of all these concerns, it's just way too expensive. Since we sit down with people making anywhere from $7 an hour and some making $77 an hour, some are working tons of overtime. Some are retired or laid off. Regardless of the situation, they want to make this affordable for everybody. And the way they set it up, Joe, let's imagine for a minute. So your boss, he comes up to you at work and tells you that because things are being going so well that they're going to start paying you for 41 hours instead of 40. All right. Now with that 1 hour, you and Mary, you guys are going to go out and get matching Ferraris? You're going to go say, call that contractor, let's build our dream home? No, of course not. Now, on the flip side, let's say it works a little slow and your boss comes up to you and tells you, hey, instead of laying you and some of your coworkers off, we're just going to have to send you guys home early on Fridays. So now you'd be working 39 hours instead of 40. So with that loss of the hour, are you going to have to get rid of your cell phones, your car? What about your Netflix, your Hulu? No, exactly. That's the idea that 1 hour isn't going to change your lifestyle. That's why they set it up this way. So let me show you how that 1 hour really does take care of your concern. Okay. So, Joe, Mary, it really helps if I use an illustration. I'm a visual learner, so it really helps. So, Joe, let's imagine that you're going into work tomorrow. Okay. So right now, you're both at job A, which is the job here on the left. And with job A, you have the normal group benefits. And with job A, you're making $1,475 per week. All right. So let's say that another job opens up. We'll call it job B. Now, with job B, you have the same group benefits, all the same coworkers, the same responsibilities, the same everything. The only difference is the income. So instead of that $1,475 per week, you're making $1,435 per week, which is about an hour's wage difference, which, like you said before, wouldn't really change anything for you. So they took that hour that didn't really mean much, and they decided to put it towards something that would, which is handling these concerns in a very simple and straightforward way. So now let me explain how that is. So first concern of the copay and deductibles and lost wages. So like I said before, health insurance and group benefits are great, but they don't cover everything. This program will pay you up to $100 every time you go into a doctor, urgent care, hospital, or for accidental heart injury. Whether that's a bump, a bruise, a bee sting. So, and if you end up in there overnight in the hospital, it pays you $200 per day, and double that if it's intensive care, $400 per day. So, let's say you have an accident and you end up in the hospital for 5 days. By having this in place, it would pay you $1,000 tax free. Now, considering that you're not working and making any money, you see how this money would help take care of some of those bills? Right. And on top of that, you'll get $10,000 for the loss of a hand, a foot, sight in one eye, and double that, 20,000 for the loss of any two. The last part of this benefit is it provides an additional 20,000 to $100,000 of accidental death benefits, depending on the type of accident. So, as you can see, Joe, Mary, you can see your current job. This isn't really covered. It's not covered at all. And the second concern that came up was, funeral expenses, final expenses. So, Joe, Mary, let me ask you, what is the one thing that every person on this earth is guaranteed? Right. We're all guaranteed death. We're all guaranteed to die. So what does that mean? That means you have a 100% chance that you will use this, the freedom of choice certificate. It looks like this. Okay. This will take care of your financial burden so your family doesn't have to. The freedom of choice has already been set up with over every funeral home, and your freedom of choice certificate is worth $30,000. So the funeral home director will simply call the number on the front of the certificate, and American Income will take care of everything. And includes sending the remaining money to your family tax free. They're using a permanent benefit to fund your freedom of choice. That way, it's there when and not if your family needs it. On Mary, on your worst day of your life, can you see how this would help make things a little easier for you? Yeah, and right now you don't have anything like that in place. Another one concern is loss of income. So, Mary, when something happens to Joe, you're probably going to miss him, right? Yeah. But after a few weeks goes by, aside from missing Joe, what else do you think you're going to miss and the family's going to miss? Exactly. Income. So this program provides a total of $100,000 that pays out for any kind of death to take care of this concern. Mary, this would give you and Chris and Kate $2,700 every month for 3 years, just like if Joe was still here. This gives you time to figure out what you're going to do with your life, your job, and any other insurance money. And again, right now, as it stands, there is no monthly income in place. So the next one is concern was a loss of house, mortgage, rent protection. So besides your income, the next people thing they're scared about is losing their home. That's exactly why the benefit software is recommending mortgage protection for you guys. Your program includes $100,000 of coverage for you, Joe. Statistically, if you were to die during your working years, it's probably not going to be a health issue like a stroke or a heart attack. It'll probably be due to an accident. So this is funded by an accidental death benefit to save you money. And right now, again, your current job, they're not going to pay you for your mortgage. They're not going to pay you a mortgage when something happens, but this program does. And the protection of children. So the next concern, the benefit software found had to do with your children's future education, Chris and Kate's. Most families I see tell me they want their kids to have the option of going to college. Is it fair to assume you guys want the option for your kids to go to college, dude? Chris and Kate? Exactly. Okay. So statistically, the biggest thing that would prevent that is if the kids lost one or both of their parents while they were minors. The benefit software is giving you $100,000 for the college fund, which breaks down into $50,000 each for Chris and for Kate. Huge, right? As you can see right now, you don't have that. Also included is a special $10,000 life insurance plan for Chris and Kate. When they turn 21, they can convert this to 5 times that amount or $50,000 of permanent life insurance with no health questions. Now, having this in place may be their key to getting coverage later on when they may otherwise not be able to qualify. So your current group benefits don't provide any permanent stuff for your children. Another important feature of this program is that if you are diagnosed with a terminal illness, such as cancer, you can access half of your freedom of choice and income protection benefits while you're alive. They are providing you with $65,000 for this fund. Joe, Mary, this gives you the chance to put your family in the best situation financially if you get the worst news imaginable. Now, the remainder of the benefit would pay out to your family as a death benefit. The current benefits don't provide anything there. As you can see, they thought pretty much everything here. Unlike your group benefits, which you can lose, these benefits are permanent and portable. So if you leave your job, retire, or leave the union, you keep these. In addition, you're on a qualified layoff. They will cover the benefits for 3 months. If you ever in a situation where you'd have a qualified strike, they cover it up to 12 months. This way, you and your family don't lose the benefits when you really need them the most. Oh, and by the way, you never have to pay that back. All right, so let's break this down. Joe, Mary, now that I reviewed everything with you guys, I'm sure you can see why 20,000 groups choose this program above all the others and why more families have our program than any other companies. It's because of the value and the full circle protection it provides. I mean, Joe, if something were to happen to you, like a bad car accident, your family would receive $370,000 tax free for about 1 hour's wage for a week. With your current job, there is no guarantee that your family will receive anything at all. This is guaranteed. So, Joe, Mary, if you went to work tomorrow, let me ask you, and you had a choice. Remember, I'll put it back up before you. Job A, job B. Which job would you take? Why would you do that if you're making more money with job A? Exactly. That's what everyone says. I mean, it's a no-brainer. So everyone wants the benefits. You see how great they are, but not everyone can get the benefits. So as I mentioned before, I do have to get you qualified first. So let me run through some questions and let's see if I can get you qualified. Okay, I'm not the underwriter, but based on what I'm seeing here, it looks like I should be able to get you qualified for the benefits. This is the QR checklist, which is a mandatory checklist that we review with all our members. It explains the enrollment process. The first thing is the checklist talks about is the way the benefits are handled. All right, so great, Joe, Mary. Now, almost everybody takes advantage of this program, and you can see why. Now you know. And they're taking advantage of it just like you are. It's because of the value. And the cost is very small compared to the many benefits. Now, it is very rare, but sometimes a member cancels. Could be a week, a month, a year later. And we end up seeing that same person during their next service period, 2, 3 years later, and they're upset. They're upset because they're no further ahead than they were. Most people end up wanting to reapply for the benefits, but the problem is now the benefit is more expensive because they're older. Worse yet, some people can't even get in anymore because their health has changed. The point is that this is not a short-term fix. This is a long-term solution for you guys. And the longer you're into the program, the more valuable it is. So if this $130 a month is uncomfortable for you, let's fix that right now. I mean, how does it feel? How does $130 a month feel for these benefits? Good? Okay. I also want to emphasize that the first draft of the 130 is going to be coming out in the next 24 to 48 hours, but it might not reflect in your bank for up to 10 days. So I want to make sure we're good on going on with the first draft and that the money will be there. Okay, great. Because I mean, if there's any issues, this creates a lot of headaches for both of us. And honestly, it reflects poorly on me because it makes it look like I pressured you into something you didn't want. And I really don't want that you to think that. So are we good to go on the first draft here? All right, great. All right. So then please keep this important program in place for your family. And the next time we see you, you're going to be really, really happy. And all your friends you extended these benefits to are going to be happy as well. Well, Joe, Mary, I don't want to take up any more time. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you guys today and getting you these benefits. And I really hope you have a blessed day.